Hello, my Teaserking family. Well, let's try this again. Had internet issues. Think they're doing some work on it, but I don't know. It seems fine now. We'll see how long we can go. Anyway, so our look at gold and silver. Silver hit 66 and change last night when China had it, went down, and now it's back to 65.81 after the 10 o'clock drop. And our gold, 43.30. It does that pattern where it gets stuck. So it goes 4,200, it gets stuck, and then finally goes and runs. And then it goes 4,300 and it gets stuck between 4,280 and 4,340. And that's where we're at now, 4,330. Again, I expect this to be 4,500 by the end of the year. Silver at 65.78. It hit 66. Now I saw two conflicting reports from that Chinese AI guy. I don't even know if he's real or not. And he's on like 10 channels, which I don't understand. And who is he? And does he know what he's talking about? Those are my questions. I'm not sure he knows what he's talking about. He talks about COMEX, but we already know what it is. So I'm not sure if he's explaining it right. And then we'll talk COMEX. He's saying that tomorrow they're going to put in a new rule. They have this meeting, and they're going to say you can't buy on COMEX. You can only sell, because that's what happened to the Hunt brothers in 1980. Well, again, variables change. You now have BRICS. You now have Russia and China. You can't stop them from buying. Might stop it in the U.S. See that in 1980, you didn't have BRICS. You didn't have China, Russia buying. So it worked. They just said, Hunt brothers, you can't buy anymore. And they ended up having to go bankrupt because they were stupid and didn't buy physical. They only bought options. I guess they bought some physical, but it made no sense. So the price finally went down. So you're sitting on $50 silver and it goes down to $10 silver because it's just shorting. Nobody can buy it. And then they had to cover their margin calls. If you're going to try to corner the market, you got to buy physical. What a bunch of idiots. So with that being said, you got to learn the game before you play it. So you should know that, wait a minute, this is COMEX, this is paper. I can't corner it. But that's not what we're doing. We're buying physical. And we're not trying to corner the market. We're just trying to let the market corner itself. So he's saying, well, Friday is triple options and they expire and they'll have to pay. All right, we've heard this every month. And it might drop a little, but today, Wednesday, the 17th, and it's not dropping. And I think that's like next week he's talking. Morning, Greg and John. So I don't know, but again, you've got other players in this. They can do it on COMEX in the U.S., but there's no way China and India are not going to buy cheap silver. So I don't know if that's real or not. You know how people, in 1830 they suppressed your gold and silver, and took it. Well, they didn't take it. They went to the banks and they paid you for it. You got $20 an ounce for it, which in 1933 was a lot of money. So, but we're not on the gold standard now. They're going to go after the Bitcoiners and the SLVs and the ETFs before they go after people. Because it's easy to go after SLV and grab their silver and gold, and it's easy to go after Bitcoiners. So they're not going to come after. But what happened in 1933? So of course nothing has changed from them, and this is the problem. You got to be careful listening to half these idiots because they are just stupid. They don't understand. So they go, look what happened. Hey, Moses split the Red Sea, and so that happens. What's going to happen again? I mean, it's stupid. Greg and John, everyone is saying to take the Indiana quarterback first. Who's everybody? I'm not saying that, and my opinion is above everybody else's. You're listening to idiots. You got to be careful who you're listening, Greg and John. Do you think he's the best quarterback? Did you watch Indiana barely beat Penn State? Did you watch him against Oregon? He threw a pick six. Did you watch Tagovailoa against Alabama and Texas and Tennessee? You tell me who you want. I'll take Tagovailoa because he's a winner. He reminds me of Joe Montana. Joe Montana was a winner. At Notre Dame, they'd be down 20 points and he'd score. And at the end of the game, and they'd get 21 and they win by 1. That's what a winner is. That's what we want. I don't find that the Indiana quarterback's the winner. Mostly handing the ball off. He reminds me of J.J. McCarthy. He mostly hands the ball off. Once in a while, he completes. I think he's better than J.J. McCarthy. I think he's a 4th, 5th round pick. There's no way he's the first pick. And who's he? He's going to go to Oakland. And yeah, that'll work. Meanwhile, Dagiopava, it's just like Caleb and Daniels. And here they could have had Daniels. They took Caleb. And Caleb isn't doing anything on Chicago. It's all they're running the ball down. See, what I've noticed this year, Trevor Lawrence sucks, so they're running the ball. And Daniel Jones sucks, and they're running the ball. And Minnesota sucks. They need to run the ball. But these quarterbacks who suck, they're running the ball more. Caleb, yeah, Chicago, they're running the ball. They're running the Detroit offense. And so, therefore, they're winning because they're running the ball. That's why they're winning. And they eat up the clock, rest their defense, and they score. He's a very good coach at, like, blocking assignments. And notice the Lions were 15-2 and in the playoffs the year before. And then without him, they're like, 8-6? I mean, they're not even a playoff team. They'll be lucky. I don't think they can beat the Bears in Chicago because it'll be cold and they won't like it. I'm not sure they can beat Pittsburgh. I was just watching the Pitt Miami highlights on YouTube. Aaron Rodgers. Now the Lions will light them up, but I think Aaron Rodgers. I don't think they can cover DK Metcalf and handle my guy, the running back. Really? Anyway, the Pitt running back from Philadelphia, from Memphis, is really Gainwell. I was thinking of cookies. So I don't think they can handle those two guys. And Aaron Rodgers should have a big day. There's no pass rush. There's no secondary for the Lions. So I'll look for Metcalf to catch some. But I don't think Pitt has the defense to stop the Lions. So, probably another track meet with the Lions. We'll go through the lines in a minute. I updated my last 5 trends. So, for example, tomorrow night, LA and Seattle are both A teams. Seattle with a 14 defense and LA with a 21 defense. Now, what I'm noticing is teams with 14 defenses are good until they play a Buffalo or a Philadelphia, one of these high-scoring teams, Detroit, Cincinnati, when Burrow's playing. So they give up a lot of points to those teams. And then when they play the New Orleans, the Jets, the Giants, those teams don't score. So you're getting this wishy-washy there of, who are they playing before I can make the pick. So with LA, Seattle, you've got LA as a 1 and a 44.5. We'll double check that now. I did want to initially speak on gold and silver. I usually do that, go to football and then come back. So 43.24 for gold, 65.71 for silver. So I think silver hits 70 by the weekend. Again, you got to be careful who you listen to on these YouTubes. He'll say stuff that happened against the Hunts brothers in 90, and they called a meeting and they're going to do this and they're going to do. You don't know they're going to do the same thing. They can't shut out the Chinese and the Indians and the Europeans from buying gold and silver. So if you try to push the price down into the 50s, let's say, they're going to buy it. They're buying it at 65. You cannot keep them off of COMEX. You're going to tell the Russians and the Chinese you can't buy, and they're going to find your body in a river somewhere. You can't do that. They're not going to let you do that. They're stronger than we are. And if you want to, they're playing the game you set up. Oh, we're going to buy on COMEX because it's cheaper. Then we'll do that. And we'll take delivery because I can't find 65.77 for silver. I can't find anywhere. They're paying over $100 at the mines. There is no silver in COMEX. JP Morgan's been shut out. Everybody's gone. These banks are all going to collapse. I don't know what this guy's talking about. So we might see a little fallout as we do every month end, just because of they cover whatever, but then 2 days later it shoots up. 65-83. Thank you very much, Mr. Weiss. We do appreciate your business. We try to make you money. We made you a lot of money last week. Just a second. I got to check something. Oh, okay. It was just funny. I got paid on Venmo, and normally I go into Venmo and transfer it, but it already did that. Okay. That was really weird. All right. So yesterday I did hit a winner on I had Jacksonville State plus the 10 against Troy, and they won 17-13. After analyzing, Troy's not a explosive team. Jacksonville, the reason I like Jacksonville State is they ran a lot, so I hit them yesterday, and I played them with a game tonight. So I do have a second part of that play going where you can use it. I gave a free play yesterday, the Bears plus 7.5 against the Packers. Micah Parsons is out. The Bears should be a 3-point favorite. They got the running team favorite. I got a live home dog. I got a team that I don't think is really bad, and especially being at home. And the weather's not too bad. It's like 40 degrees out now. Finally getting warm out. Greg and John, TK Raiders are going to get shut out again against Houston this week. Yeah, I don't think they're going to score much. They're starting to catch on to Houston. They're 14-point favorites now. So today in the bowl games, we have Old Dominion, South Florida. South Florida's quarterback's sitting out to get ready for the draft because he thinks he's going to get drafted. 3 and 52.5. Let's quickly go through these teams. They're both A teams. Old D with the 19 defense. South Florida to 23. Total went down from 56 to 53.5. Is now 52.5. We'll call it 53. Old D's a really good team with a good defense, and if the quarterback's not playing, they're probably a decent play. I'm not sure about going under because I think it's the system that South Florida runs. But remember, South Florida beat Florida and beat Boise, but then we see Washington killing Boise, and now that one doesn't look as good. So anytime you lose your starting quarterback, the timing goes, it's a little different. Then we got Lou Lafayette going against Delaware. Both teams are over teams. We've got Lou Lafayette, 2.5-point favorite, and 61.5. This was 58.5 up to 61.5. Both teams are over teams with 30 defenses. They're both pretty explosive. I think this should be a high-scoring game. It's not too deep into the bowl season. When you get to the New Year's Day games like Michigan in the Rose Bowl, and they'd be out for 5 weeks, and they always started slow because they had no rhythm and timing because Coach Bo just didn't know how to do it. I mean, it was over his head. But I think this is early on. I think this should get over. And then tomorrow we got Missouri State, Arkansas State. Missouri State's an E team. Arkansas State's an E team. Arkansas State 1.5, 54.5, down from 56.5. They're both E teams with 28 defense. So they both score mid-20s. give up 27, 28. I'll have to check that again every day. Now, again, tomorrow we got the Rams in Seattle, which we'll get into. And then Friday we got three games. We got Kennesaw State, Western Michigan. We got Western is 4-40, 8.5. Kennesaw State's a B team. 24 defense. Western won the MAC, under team with an 18. Probably an under game there. Memphis and NC State. Memphis an A team with a 22 defense. NC State an over team with a 29. So their defense is worse. NC State 4.5, 58.5. This was 5.5. NC State, good offense. Memphis should have a good offense too. This probably goes high scoring. It's only 58. And then we got our first look at the playoffs. Alabama against Oklahoma. And Alabama is a 1. So they keep changing the favorite, and 40.5. And Oklahoma, great defense. And quarterback stinks. I don't think they'll score much. Georgia really shut down Alabama. So I don't think Alabama's going to do much either. 40.5, probably a low scoring game. I haven't posted the playoff games yet. I'm still digesting the NFL, and I have time on these. But that's it. And then Saturday, Miami goes against A&M. Now again, this game's at Oklahoma, at A&M, at Ole Miss, and at Oregon. A&M is 349.5. Down from 51.5. I'll call it 50. And 3. And I think this is a pretty even game. I think A&M, Miami's been playing pretty good defense lately. They're a 13 defense, and A&M's at 22, been lit up by Notre Dame and Arkansas and other teams. So I think Miami's a live dog here. UConn is playing Army. UConn has a new coach. See, I don't understand. So Jim Mora just quits, like doesn't even coach the bowl game to go to the new team. I don't get that. That'd be like me working finance at GM, and here we're coming into year end, and I quit to go work at Mercedes. I mean, what the fuck? It's just crazy. It really is. Now the coach will be probably the offensive or defensive coordinator, and he'll keep the team the same. UConn's got a really good quarterback. We'll get to that game when we get to it. So Miami A&M, I think it's a live dog. Miami. I can't bet under. A&M scores too much. Although the kid threw 2 picks on Texas, which killed us on our over, so I'm a little lean there. Tulane goes to Ole Miss. Ole Miss 17.5, 56.5. And again, this game is at Ole Miss. Tulane, they're not that good. Ole Miss an A team with the 20 defense, and Tulane's an E team with the 22. They're probably an under team. They scored 26, so they're a little bit high from an under and give up 22. I'll last 5 the playoff games. I think Ole Miss at home. Now, is Lane Kiffin the coach, or is he running to LSU before the bowls? This I don't know. I would think he would at least coach through the bowls, through the playoffs, but I don't know. And then our last is James Madison, Oregon. Oregon 20.5, 47.5. You've got to be kidding me. They're both A teams with 15 defenses. I don't think James Madison scores in the game, and I think Oregon's going to be intense and grab the lead and get up 40-0, and then we'll see. So 47. If it goes much lower, it's going to be an over bet. As of now, it's probably right at the cusp of going under. Because again, for an over, you need both teams to score. You actually have 2 pretty good defensive teams. But James Madison's way outclassed there. They're a Sun Belt team. All right. So there's like upcoming college. And then we get to Monday. So we will go back to that. NFL. All right. We'll get back to gold and silver, of course. I wasn't sure if I was going to take Alyssa up north. Alyssa's got a problem where, well, I'll see if I can go with you. I'll call you at night, and then she doesn't call. I don't know what she's thinking, but it's extremely rude because, you get, are we going or are we not going? And you're waiting. It's okay if you say no, but I was with her at like 5 o'clock and okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I'll call you tonight to confirm. And then there'll be a big song and a dance, and you don't know what's real. And if you don't want to go, I'm buying you your Christmas gift. If you don't want to go, fine. I'll save my money. I won't buy you a Christmas gift. So I don't really get it. It's very frustrating because you don't know how to make plans with somebody. They'll call when they need you, but if you're just trying to do something, I said, well, why don't we do Christmas? We'll go to the boneyard, to the barbecue place. I'm not holding my breath with that either. I'll go by myself. So I'm very comfortable by myself, so it's not a problem. But anyway, that's what we got. So that's why I'm here. I wasn't sure if I was going to be going to the outlet mall up north where I usually go and, spending her and then driving back. So I don't know. But I understand her, and I understand this is part of her. So I don't get upset. She says, don't you get mad? I said, no. What's the point? No, I stay calm. I just understand that's the situation. You can't rely on her. You never know. So I'm fine with it. That's how you guys should be. Just instead of getting mad at your girlfriends or your wives or your kids for doing something or not doing, it's just that's the way they are, and you just, hey, I'm fine, whatever. I'll do whatever. I went to the grocery store and bought stuff. All right, LA, Seattle. LA is 144. They're both A teams. LA with a 21 defense, Seattle a 14. Now, here's where it gets tricky. LA just played the Lions and gave up 34 points. Does that mean their defense is no good? No, it's just that's how good they played a good offensive team. Did Seattle? They just played Indianapolis with Phillip Rivers and 52 field goals in the game. So again, who are they playing? You worried that Seattle had struggled with Phillip Rivers in the first place, right? So it's a Thursday night. LA won the first game 21-19, as we remember. We bet that over 41, and all we needed was the kid to kick a field goal. He makes 6 yesterday, but he couldn't make the one that we needed. That would have given us the over. So I'm not so quick to jump on a lock here or that. I'm always cautious on a Thursday night. They're both 11-3. They're both going for the 1 seed. So this makes it extremely, let's see if there's any, well, Devontae Adams is hurt. So does that make a big deal? Probably not. They got Tutu Atwell. Seahawks and Rams could be missing key offensive pieces, which then it drives you to an under, right? Every little piece, every little clue draws you to something, right? Okay, MVP race could hinge on third. Are you kidding? Maybe with Stafford, but not with Darnold. You got to be kidding. All right, let's see what they say about injuries. All right, all the Rams injuries. I probably shouldn't have done that. Really, the key injury, Tyler Higbee's on injured reserve, and Devontae Adams is questionable with a knee. Now, I thought it was a hamstring. Capiche? Didn't everybody think it was a hamstring? It's calling it a knee. Seahawks, really nobody that we know anyway. A tackle, a linebacker, and a wide receiver, Daraki Young. Never heard of him. All right, we did last 5. And it's a big, I mean, this is what's confusing. The Rams, they score 41 on Detroit, 45 on Arizona, 28 on Carolina and lose, 34 on Tampa, 21 on Seattle. So they played two low scoring games, and then the last three have been extremely high scoring. See, I answer it's a spam. I answer it and then I block it so they don't bother me. So again, they gave up 31 to Carolina. I have no idea how, and 34 to Detroit. And 34 to Detroit. So I like how you block it and then they hit you with another call. So it's just totally a scam and probably a Ponzi. They want your information, your credit card, your bank account, then they'll never come to your house or whatever. I love the ones where I don't even ask for it. Oh, you wanted to get a new bathroom. That's to get you to buy something and give them your credit card, and then they'll never show up because they're not real. They're just calling you. It's all Ponzi schemes. Be very careful. So against a really good defense, Seattle, they scored 21. And this is why I rate Detroit an over team. Very good offense, but their defense sucks. So when you look at them against Pitt this week, you go, fuck, I can't, it's probably an over game. You can't really stop them, but their defense is terrible. So here's Detroit playing a 75-point game. Here's Arizona. What are these idiots leaving me messages on my spams? Arizona doesn't have an offense, got 17. Carolina got 31. How? Tampa, with their injuries, got 7, and Seattle 19. Seattle has trouble. Now, if the Rams were favored here, or Seattle is favored as they should be at home, I would be all over the Rams. But here again, they're making the Rams 1-point favorite. I don't get it with Green Bay. I do more get it with the Rams than the one. Seattle, all right, they lost to the Rams 21-19. They beat Tennessee, who sucks, 30-24. Not a really good game. They beat Minnesota 26-0 with the third string quarterback. Again, you've got to factor in what happened. Then they beat Atlanta 37-9 with Kirk Cousins. And then they beat Indy 18-16 with 16 field goals and no touchdowns. Hard to bet this game over. Seattle has a very good defense and the worst they did, they gave up somehow 24 to Tennessee. They gave up 21 to the Rams, 24 to Tennessee. Shut out the third string quarterback of Minnesota. Atlanta gets 9. And last week, Phillip Rivers, age 65, gets 16 points. So from the Seattle standpoint, it's probably an under. 18 on Indy, 19 on the Rams, 26 on Minnesota, 30 on Tennessee stocks, and 37 on Atlanta. Big game, Thursday night game. Devontae Adams, we don't know. We'll know if he's out tomorrow or not. So play number one, we take the Rams plus the 5. We think Stafford's a lot better than Darnell, which he is. We think the defense, Seattle being a 14 is just because they just shut out Minnesota with the third string quarterback and Atlanta with the 9. Otherwise, 21 on the Rams, 24 and 16. So I think the Rams, again, probably get into the 20s. And the Rams defense, they gave up 17 to Arizona, 19 to Seattle. Seattle doesn't have a Detroit style. Look for Darnell to choke again. So you really can't take Seattle in 7. Then it goes totals. What do you do? Over 38 or under 50? And this is the question. What do you think the score is going to be? And this is the difficult part. The Rams score 34, 28, 45, 41. Detroit, decent defense. Carolina, I thought had a good defense. Tampa's is decent. And then Seattle's was 21. So I think the Rams will be in the 20s. Seattle will score on the Rams, which then leads you to over 38, but we got burned on over 41. Now, the under part of it, under 50, will it be a low-scoring game? And that's the other issue. Yeah, Seattle on 19 on LA and then 18 on Indy. And again, I'm going last five. Smith and Jima is not all that. They make him into some super like Jerry Rice. He's not. And then we see the Rams can be vulnerable. But a 7 on Tampa, a 17 on Arizona, 19 on. So this is a 40-point game. And I think we'll get close to that. I think we're somewhere in the 40s. I don't think they're going to put up. Detroit has no defense. They have no secondary. Their defensive coordinator sucks. But they gave up a lot of points to Detroit. But can Seattle do that? They do have Walker. They do have Smith and Najima. The problem is they don't have a quarterback. And I don't know who their offensive coordinator is, but obviously he's not very good to get 6 field goals against them. And in the big game they needed against the Rams, they got 19 points. He threw 4 picks. So maybe they run the ball more. I don't know. Devontae Adams being out is not going to be good. So I think you can go over, and I think you could have a case for under 50 and over 38. Over 38 sounds more plausible. I don't think you're going to stop Stafford. He's gonna get in the 20s. So if you got 38, he's already 24, which means you need 14 roughly from Seattle, which granted they struggled against Indy, but they did put up 19. Yeah, I mean, they're going to probably struggle. They'll probably be around 20. So it's a case of both ways. You can go over or you could go under in this game. If we get Seattle favored, then it would be a lock. Take the Rams and the points. But I don't know that I can do Seattle plus the points here. Maybe I can. I got to think about it. So this is a very tough game. And again, it's based on the line. The line is wrong. Seattle should be a 3-point favorite at home. And that's the bottom line. And why the Rams are 1, you really have the wrong team favored. But they're not a weak favorite, so I can't just take Seattle at 7. All right, anyway, that's tomorrow's game. Philly goes to Washington. Washington 6.5, 44.5. I haven't put in the grades yet. Who needs the game? Philly needs the game to clinch the NFC East. Washington's out of it. No Daniels. I mean, they're bad. They got I haven't put in my numbers yet. They got a weak defense, I'm sure. Green Bay, Chicago. Again, Green Bay's favored by 1.5 and 46.5. This is the free play. I like the Bear. Let's give it a score. I'm going to go 27-17 Chicago. I think they're the better team here. I think without Micah Parsons, they're a lot better team. I'm not a Love guy. This is where I see things differently. I don't listen to the hype. Oh, Love's this and that. He's not good, right? And then I don't think Caleb's good, but I like the way the offensive coordinator is running the ball down your throat, and all of a sudden the running Swift he sucked at the Lions, and he was okay on Philly. I'm surprised Philly let him go, but they got Barkley, so he's fine. He does a lot. He gets you the yards. They score a lot. Caleb's not great, but he's playing better. Their defense seems to be playing well. They're at home, and I don't buy Green Bay without Micah Parsons going to win this game. And I get them. The difference is in the Seattle game, I really think the Rams are the better team, right? It'd be like Stafford being out and they still be favored, right? But here, without Micah Parsons, he was their best player, not Love, not the running back. Jacobs has been hurt. I think if Green Bay wins this game, and I don't think they will, it'd be by 3 or 4 points. The Bears in a must-win, going for the division. They're 10-4. They get to 11. I think it almost maybe shuts Detroit out from winning the division. Detroit's where are they? Detroit's 8-6, so they can go 11-6, and the Bears would be 11-4. and Detroit would have to win all three. They're not sure they're going to beat Pittsburgh. And then you've got they play, I think, Minnesota, and then they play the Bears. So it makes the Bears, if they win this, they just got to win the next week's game, and it won't matter about the Lions. Green Bay, on the other hand, has beaten the Lions twice, so they really have like a 3-game lead over them with 3 to go. So the Lions are really in trouble. But Green Bay, I don't see them winning this game. I don't see them going to Chicago with Love and without Micah Parsons winning. The Bears, okay, we weren't sure week schedule, but they did beat Philly and they played Green Bay well. And then last week they got Cleveland and they beat the shit out of them. So that's how I view it. It's I think the Bears are a very live dog here, and that's your free play. 27-17, the Bears. Mike Dick is going to play, I think. Tampa Bay, Carolina, Tampa 345.5. Again, we've got we had a lot of road favorites this week. How good's Carolina? Not very. I think Tampa is they've got the better team. They've got the Baker over Steve Young. Their defense sucks. Their defense is a 30-something defense. So it becomes maybe we go over. Carolina did score a lot on the Rams, and they played it over with the Niners last week. Tampa with the weak defense. So this game could be an over. And again, at 45, we only need 39, which is 21-20. In my mind, in the pros, scoring 20 points should be a joke, right? Tampa should be high 20s. Carolina at home should be low 20s, get you 48. We need 39. So you're really probably going over with the game. Again, Tampa does not have that defense. And Carolina, I know they've been running the ball, but I don't think Tampa can stop them. The only guy, they got Winfield Jr. Otherwise, I don't think Larry David's doing much. Minnesota goes to the Giants. Minnesota 343.5. I got to put my grades in. Minnesota, probably an under team. They have a pretty good defense, and J.J. McCarthy, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. The Giants playing pretty. They got killed by Washington last week. They're 2-12, going for the number 1 draft pick, so they have no incentive to win the game. I can't play Minnie as a road favorite with J.J. McCarthy. No, you can't do that, which leads you to total. Minnesota with the good defense. I'll have to check the Giants. I filled it in. I just have it written on my sheet yesterday. So I will do that. The JETSs go to New Orleans. Again, we got till Sunday. It's Wednesday. The JETSs go to New Orleans. New Orleans 4.5, 40.5. Tyler Shaw goes against who's going to quarter this week? Is it going to be Brady Cook? Is it going to be Tyrod Taylor? I think he's questionable. We'll see. 4.5, 40.5. The Jets defense sucks, and New Orleans has a pretty good defense. I can't lay points with New Orleans, and I can't take the Jets as a dog, so it leaves you with a total. And again, the Jets are bad. New Orleans, maybe it's over 35 because it's so low, because I don't know the defenses yet. Cincinnati goes to Miami. Cincinnati 4.5, 47.5. Wow, this jumped. This was 1.5. What the hell happened? This was Miami 1.5, then Cincinnati 1.5. Now Cincinnati 4.5, and down to 47.5. Is Tagliavoa sitting it out? Let's see. Yes, we finally realized Tate can only throw 5-yard passes to the backside of the backfield. Quentin Ewers to replace bench Tagliavoa for Miami. Well, there you go. Ewers sucked at Texas. I'm shocked he's in the league. Going to go against Burrow. This is a huge mismatch. You can see how the line in the total told you something. I really like Cincinnati here because Joe Burrow looked like he fixed the game. That last interception that he threw to the guy at the 5 yard line when nobody was around, and the guy went all the way for a touchdown. I don't know what that was. That was not Joe Burrow LSU. That was not Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. I don't know what that was. The Joe bet on Baltimore. That's what it looked like. I think he comes back strong. Miami with no defense. He should have a huge game. Quentin Ewers, you got to be kidding. How do you come up with let's draft Quentin Ewers because he looked really good at Texas? If you don't look good in college, how are you going to look good stepping up to the pros, right? So Ewers stinks. Cincinnati, their defense is playing a little bit better. The weather will be much better. I just think Burrow and Chase just eat these guys up for breakfast. Miami doesn't have the defense. So I think that's the best way to play is Joe Burrow will not play as bad as he did. These guys are like that when they, you see it in baseball and other sports. When they have a bad day, they get mad at themselves. So look for Joe to come on strong, as we do with Mahomes. When they lose, he comes on strong. So I think the Bengals strong. Miami's out of the playoffs. Going with Quentin Ewers to see what we've got because we don't realize that he sucks too. Kansas City at Tennessee, and we're going to go with Minshew against Ward. Casey's still a 3.5 point favorite, 37.5, even though it's at Tennessee. Kelsey, they should just say goodbye. Go get married to that girl. Ward's terrible. Casey has a good defense and a running, and I can't believe my internet again. Okay, it's better. So Tennessee's terrible. KC Minshew will be okay, not great. It's hard without Mahomes, and it's hard that they're eliminated. How they're going to play. Total wise, KC with the good defense. The weather's fine. The weather is not a problem anywhere. We'll go through that. I don't know. It's hard to bet on Tennessee. And Minshew will get you points. He's not going to get shut out. Ward might get shut out because Casey's got that strong defense. 37.5. I mean, I think you can go over 31. It's such a low number. I don't get why it's sold. They're overvaluing Mahomes. Like Minshew's is a good quarterback. So we'll see. Ward, probably a couple turnovers. And maybe he runs around because that's all these guys do now is know how to run around. TK UConn is a new coach. Jason Candle is the new coach, whoever that is. He's probably one of the coordinators from Jim Mora. Yeah, I don't know. Never heard of him. Doesn't really matter. We'll see. San Diego goes to Dallas. I'm a little surprised there. Dallas 2.5, 49.5, up from 1.5. What's going on with San Diego? Anybody injured? So Denver's going to clinch the NFC West and #1 seed if they win this week. Let's see, injuries. San Diego, Najee Harris. He doesn't do anything anyway. Dallas, Miles Sanders, Trevion Diggs. That's about it. We'll get to the Denver game. I think San Diego is a very live dog. They used to be our best dog on the road. Like for years, they were like 21-1 on the road, and they'd be a road dog. We'd lock it. They'd win. They'd be a road dog 3 or 4 times, and we'd win it. Dallas certainly can't trust them. San Diego, big defense, big win over Kansas City, 10-4. still trying to catch Denver, and they're trying to make sure they're in the playoffs. So uh, I think I think San Diego should be favored in this game. So again, the Bear game, the Bears should be favored. The Philly should be favored. Seattle probably should be favored. I think the Rams are the better team, but because it's in Seattle, Seattle should be a 3. The Bears should be a 3. Uh, Let me see. I had Miami favored over Cincy, and they started 1.5, but then they benched Tagovailoa. I don't know what took the guy so long. He's trying to use him as a scapegoat. Oh, it's Tagovailoa's fault, not mine. I'm the coach. KC 3.5 with Minshew. Dallas 2.5 point favorite. I did have Dallas as a 3 because they were at home, but San Diego is a very live dog here. All right. Buffalo 10-42 to Cleveland. Buffalo obviously needs the game. They can still catch New England with the win last week. They're very explosive. Cleveland with Prime Jr. The weather's not really the factor, and it wouldn't be anyway with Buffalo, who's used to the lake and the wind and the snow. Prime Jr.'s terrible. They got crushed at Chicago. It's like they gave up. Jerry Judy's not. He's dropping a lot of balls. He had a touchdown that he dropped. It went right through his hat. And he dropped it and it got intercepted. But, Buffalo must win to try to A, catch New England, and then try to B, well, I think it's Monday night. No, New England's the Sunday night game against Baltimore. So Buffalo needs to win. They'll be tied with New England. And they got 3 games left. So Buffalo is the play. Cleveland should be going for the number 1 draft pick. And what are they going to do? Let Prime Jr. go and Gabriel go and draft Dylan Gabriel or Robertson? That'll be an interesting paradox. And then nobody takes Prime Jr. or somebody will take him like they took Trey Lance. Dallas took Trey Lance, or San Diego, or somebody took him and he just sits on the bench. So Buffalo, yeah, it's a little high 10-42. Do we see any total play? Well, Buffalo's an over team. They score a ton, and we know over 36 might be very edible, but we probably just want to lay the 4. Cleveland 16, anybody? No, I don't got the balls for that. I just don't see Cleveland in 16. I'm not betting on Prime, and Buffalo is just going to pound because they have to win, and they beat New England. They're not going to be flat. They don't let down now. Now is not the time the teams are letting down. Now is the time they're getting squared. I told you last week the team, I said they're not going to let down. I think Denver, was it Denver or one of those teams? They thought, well, they might let down because they had a big win, and there was never, and they didn't. And that's what I think you got here. So I think Buffalo, go Buffalo, beat Miami. I mean, 10. Let's see if we can get a 9 somewhere. If I go to scores and odds, I get 6 books where I don't get it here. So here the Packers are 1.5. Let's see details. All these sites with all their ads, they can't load. I mean, it's a joke. Buffalo 10. There's a 10.5 and 10s and 10s.5. So yeah, there's no 9s out there, and I don't expect you find any. So it's, do you lay 4 or do you go over 36? Buffalo, not a great defense and a great offense. Cleveland, you got Myles Garrett. Okay, he had 2 sacks against the Bears. They scored 31 on him. Again, you get a lot of turnovers from Prime Jr. So I think Buffalo -4. Again, this is must win. We'll go through the must wins. Atlanta, Arizona, nobody cares. Atlanta, 2.5, 47.5. Again, they're a road favorite. Now, they're a very weak road favorite, especially with my man Kirk Cousins, who belongs in Little League. Um, can you trust Atlanta? No, Arizona's quit, but I can't trust Atlanta. And 47.5, I don't know. Maybe an under. I have no talk there. Jacksonville goes to Denver. Denver 3, 46.5. As I said, this is Denver wins. They're clinching. Jacksonville's a very good team lately. Let's look at Jacksonville. So they are an A team with a strong defense, last five, and this is what Denver's got. This is not going to be an easy one for Denver. Jacksonville is a strong A team. This is like the Kansas City game. This is not a game easily there. Let's see any injuries. Let's see. Nobody I know. Denver. J.K. Dobbins is on the IR, which we knew. But if I go into the last five, Jacksonville 48 on the JETSs, 36 on the Indy team that Seattle couldn't score on, 25 on Tennessee, 27 on Arizona, but 35 on San Diego. So 35 on San Diego, 36 on Indy. Forget the 48. That's against the Little League team, the JETSs in Tennessee and Arizona. So really, they beat three teams, but the other Indiana and San Diego